Hey everybody, it's week 22 here at the Victory Garden, and we have gone from some early frost to now some really hot weather again, so we're just having a very interesting late season here. But the season is winding down. Now is a really good time to think about things that can be planted in the fall, one of which is garlic. And so we'll be doing a segment in the middle of October showing you how to plant garlic, but in the meantime you might want to think about rounding some up if you're interested in planting some. It's also a good time to plant other kinds of bulbs as well. Any spring flowering bulbs, fall is a good time to plant them. So with the garlic too, I haven't looked yet, but it could be that it might be difficult to find garlic in the seed catalogs. A seed catalog will be your best place to find some. But truthfully, even if you have some in your fridge, or you find some at the grocery store, or you could find some even better, like locally at a farmer's market, any of that garlic would be fine to plant. So yeah, it'd be a good time to round some up, and in a few weeks we'll talk about getting it in the ground.
So today we're also going to do another thing that we had mentioned way back in the spring. Something that you could do would be to take a soil test. If you're worried about soil fertility, or your plants aren't quite growing right. And we knew that our soil in here was really nice because we brought in all this great compost. But just out of curiosity, we're going to do a soil test at the end of the season now. And with our results, we'll have the fall and winter to kind of look into them and just figure out if there's any amendments that we need to make next spring so that our plants keep growing really well. And this is something that if you didn't have time for, you weren't that interested in the beginning of the year, now might be a really cool time to just kind of dig into depth in your soil and in your soil's health. So to take a soil test, you're really just going to need a trowel or a shovel or some other scooping sort of instrument, and then a bucket to collect your samples. So with the soil test, you're going to want to get a couple different spots in the garden, dig up some soil, just so that you can get a good picture of the whole garden. So I'm going to dig a few samples, and I'm going to start right here. I want to make sure to clear off if there's any weeds or any sort of plant matter on the surface. Want to make sure to clear that out of the way. And then you're just going to be doing I think the first 6 inches. So this has a measuring tool on it. So that's going to be, get a sample between this depth in the soil. And we're just going to get maybe like a half a cup in each of our sampling areas. And then we're just going to mix it together in the bucket. So here's my first one. So making sure to get some from 1 inch to 6 inches in the ground. Just take a scoop, make sure there's not any big roots or rocks or anything in it. And now I'm gonna grab the rest of my samples. And here we have our collection of soil, so we're going to mix it up and put it in a bag. And here is our final collected sample. So I put about 2.5 cups of soil into a clean bag that I could seal, and then just put your name, address, and you can do a 4-digit identification code. I guess that's usually more if you're like a big farm, but feel free to put that on. And then we're going to get this put in the mail and sent off to the University of Minnesota Soil Lab, and they will send us our test results in a couple weeks.
So next week we are going to take our gardening segment into the kitchen and do a little cooking. And then we're going to start a little bit different schedule. We're not going to film every week. The season's kind of winding down, and so we're going to switch it up a little bit. So we'll take a week break and then we'll be back out in the garden in October to plant our garlic and to do some kind of end of the season wrap up, talk about some things that you can do to put your garden to bed. And then as the season goes on, we will keep, there's topics all winter long that we can be covering. And so we'll just keep coming to you with all sorts of different gardening things. As the season wears on, it'll just be on a little less frequent basis.
So that's it for this week's show, and we're looking forward to meeting you in the kitchen next week and doing a little cooking with stuff that we've grown ourselves in our own victory garden. As always, comments are greatly appreciated. You can leave them down below in the comment section or send us an email. Join the Facebook group and you can interact with us there. We are still getting more ideas, and we love to hear the ideas from you for where you want us to take this next summer, or topics that you want us to talk about this winter. So for sure, keep letting us know what you're interested in and where you want to go with this Victory Garden project. And I think that's it for this week, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.